I wanted to have 5 minutes, 10 minutes of just explaining what the PHA is all about and how together we can make a difference and have made a difference. So this is going to be a bit of a jog before we get into the question time. So bear with me, okay? Just bear with me right to the end. Breathlessness, not voiceless, no hopeless is a phrase that we're going to be using over the next, certainly 18 months, 5 years even, on a strategic plan of changing, hopefully, the future of the way this disease is managed in the in the UK and how it's received by people like the Department of Work and Pension. You might be breathless, but you're not voiceless, and many of you can prove that time and time again. We know about the disease. This is the disease, all the clever stuff that we've seen, you know, the disease lungs, the physiology that's wrong, etc. Really important, exciting stuff. The long-term answer lies somewhere in unlocking what's going off and how to stop it happening. But, you know, the disease is what's wrong, and the illness is how it's felt by the individual. And it's as variable. Every time I do a clinic, I'll see 6 or 10 people in my clinic, and everybody will have the same thing that's wrong. Well, their experience of the illness is very different. And that's the art of good healthcare and medicine, is the joining of the two together, not trying to separate it. And, you know, the iceberg thing is a bit at the top that we all know about, you know, your clinic visits, etc. But life doesn't stand still. You know, when you get PH, it doesn't suddenly stand still. Things in life continue. You know, families continue to be difficult, etc. Life continues to be a challenge. And, you know, everybody's got a different story to tell. We've got this diagnostic pathway, the work that we've done over the years, and it still remains the same. It still remains after 15 years of work with ourselves and pharma and the clinicians. Still takes, on average, for about 50% of people, 2.5 years to be diagnosed with this condition. You still need to see 4 or 5 medics to get a diagnosis. We've still got a lot of impact to do. So we as an organisation, in collaboration with the clinical service, with industry, with pharma, have still got things to do. And most of the time, even though we've got specialist care, most of the time, as individuals, and I'm not just talking about the patient themselves, the kinship, the loved ones, you're on your own. You live, you know, you survive, and yeah, you can pick up the phone. But specialist services are so busy. I mean, we're so busy doing stuff. It's quite difficult. It's quite isolating in many ways. And it feels like you're odd. I mean, I know some of the work that I did in my PhD, one of the things that many people express when they, with a diagnosis of PhD, they almost feel, they use this word about a freak. I'm in the wrong place. It's just not, I don't fit anywhere, because I don't fit like somebody who's got asthma or COPD, or because there's nobody else that I know that can identify with. So I seem to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. And what we're about is making sure you're the right person in the right place, in the right people, with the right drug. And as Luke said, as I'm his fairy godmother from now on in, is that he can have what he wants. And all he's asking for is to practice his job based on the best evidence available. He's not asking for something unreasonable at all. So, and you know, going back to this illness thing, that, you know, sometimes people are experiencing different things, and as clinicians, I work, my main job is a nurse consultant. I will see the disease sometimes in people from a different perspective. You will see it sometimes, it's almost like an optical illusion. Do you see 3 planks or 4 planks? Do you see a class 4 patient, or do you see a class 3 patient? It's variable. Some of the work we've been doing with Janelle on the impact study is that, you know, when you get, as Sean mentioned, into functional class 3 or 4, patients themselves always identify themselves in a higher class, well, not always, usually identify themselves in a higher functional class than clinicians do. It's a perception of reality. And what, as I say, the art of medicine, the art of what we're doing is to pull the two together. And what that does is that if we can see the right thing, and, you know, as Janelle was teaching here, just some really practical things, that when people share their stories and we understand it, is that the things like a set of stairs for this poor old guy here who's struggling, there are ways around dealing with it, but you have to be able to share and understand and see things from a different perspective. There's always a way around it, okay? If there's not an obvious way, we'll find a way, but what we won't do is let the problem remain in the way. Okay? As a PHA, we've been around for 15 years, well, 17 years now. One of the things that we set up to do, really, was to provide good information. Have you ever been on Dr. Google? Who's not been on Dr. Google? We all do it. We all do it. We've got a swelling, we've got a smell, we go on Dr. Google. So we go and get advice. There's lots of rubbish on Dr. Google, but there's some really good stuff. One of the main reasons for our existence was to provide good evidence-based information. We as an organisation, we have a strategy. We don't just sit in isolation. This is going to be in the next Emphasis magazine. So the next Emphasis magazine is going to contain a number of things that I'm talking about. So we're answerable to a number of things. We have a structure, and that structure is to try and do the best for this disease in the UK and be a forum in which everybody can interact on an equal footing. And that includes the patient, that includes the patient's family, that includes the patient's relatives, etc. Because together we're better and stronger. This is just as a method. We're answerable, we're a charity. A lot of people still don't understand we do not receive any government money. So all our money comes from people who will do charitable things for us, give us money. I make no apology that it costs us money to run as an organisation. This chart is, again, in the Emphasis magazine, there's an article on this. This is an independent organisation that looks at charities and see how it spends its money. And I'm really proud of this one, because this is better than most of the 160,000 charities that exist in the UK, medical charities. For every £1 that we get, okay, for nearly 96% goes on the activities that you want it to go on. That is something we can be really, really proud about, okay? Really proud about. And I make no apologies that we spend 4p of every pound to make the organisation tick. So that's the charity that's supporting. Be proud of that. So if you are doing a marathon, or you're doing a jumble sale, or you're doing whatever, be assured that's an independent assessment of our charitable activities. Be really proud of it. Now then, here's the weird bit. Here's the weird bit. If you cast your mind back to 1962, so you're going to get, you're like, oh, how old is that? It's moisturiser that keeps me looking young. 1960s. That was a picture of me. And through tender care and the support of many people I don't know, etc., the present reality is. Yep. But I could only get to this stage by being cared for by others and by being open by others. And in essence, on a serious note, that's what this organisation is about. It's about bringing that to that. Now that is worth having, isn't it? Eh? I don't care what side of the fence you sit on. It's worth having, okay? All right. I'm available later after lunch. Here's a video. Whatever we think we're about, whatever we think we're joined in here, whatever we think we're engaged in, can we just continue it? Can we keep a focus on it? Yeah, we've all got our own agendas, but we're only achieved, and we're only where we're at now because of what we've done. We'll only achieve what we want to achieve by, and as this really firm space, we can be clever, but can we just make sure that we always care about each other? So each other, the people sat next to you, the clinical teams who are working under huge stress. The NHS is making people sick at the moment. Remember them, okay? There are some really bad news stories in it. Well, I can tell you, and without any word of a lie, the people who work in the NHS are the best people. It's one reason, or two reasons I've remained working in PH. One is because of you people, and it's an honour to look after you. But my colleagues, etc., work really hard and will continue to work hard. And remember that as well, okay?